Welcome back, everybody. This is Central Coast Disc Golf, and we are in Kansas City for the 2023 Grip Equipment Kansas City Wide Open. We are at Bad Rock Creek Disc Golf Course. I am Connor O'Reilly, and today I am joined in the booth by Mr. Nathan Queen. Super excited to have you here with me, Nathan.
Yeah, happy to be out here. This is my second time playing the Kansas City Wide Open. I played it in 2019 also. First time at this course. I believe this is the second year this course has been used out at Stocksdale Park. Straight into hole one. Par 4, 575 feet with OB everywhere. Your right-handed backhand players are going to play a hyzer shot to off to the left, either just in front of this big bush, or if you've got some better power, you're going to go for the landing zone that tests the water a little bit more. Possible to go for the green if you just want to smash past it and you've got that distance. But pretty intimidating hole to start your round.
This is your feature card for the 41st Kansas City Wide Open. First on the box, representing West Side from Creola, Alabama, Matty O.
And yeah, Nathan, one thing I love about this hole one is whether you want to play it for eagle, whether you want to play it for par, you have to commit to some shots here. There's no really easy, simple way of playing this one just for a birdie or a par. You have stress on every shot, and I think it's a good starting hole. We'll see a lot of birdies. We'll also see a lot of bogeys and doubles. Very wind dependent whether or not you can really go for this one, though. And at this time of day, pretty strong right to left wind. Not the best for this one.
Yeah, the wind changed quite a bit throughout the day. Depending on what time you started, you definitely got a different amount of wind here on hole one. Matty O gets a bit too far off to the left.
Very common to see right-hand, backhand players kind of chip it pretty far to the left and then just give themselves another hyzer approach. You kind of have to decide, do you want to choose a fairway driver, put it to that short pocket, or really try to push it for that wood chip landing zone Nathan was talking about?
Yeah, I think pushing towards the wood chips definitely plays better. A lot easier to find trouble on this short spot like Matty O did too far off to the left. Paul, though, going to be in a good spot.
With this approach being such a tiny little green up there, I think if you can be on that second wood chip landing zone and have some kind of a jump putt up, makes it way easier to have a tap in. Really common to find yourself down below putting back at the water here for birdie.
Ben has some pretty good power, so he puts this very high. Nobody getting real aggressive off of this one, and it's looks like it might bite a couple players. Going to be too far left.
Yeah, from those positions, Paul will be looking at the basket. Matty and Ben will have kind of blind hyzers in, really going to have to measure their shots very well. If Gannon can get this a little flatter and lower out of the hand, he might have a chance to get to that premier landing zone we mentioned.
Yeah, Gannon usually pretty aggressive. I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to go for the basket, honestly.
He really is comfortable with a flat release, which is ideal for this type of tee shot. Definitely pushing. Oh my goodness.
So
He goes, is that inbounds?
he's caught some power lines, and it looks like he's right on the line. Spotter gives him the green.
Hits the lines. What a roller coaster. Ends up finding a really good spot there with visibility of the basket, but man, what a small chance it is that you hit those lines. I actually did in practice, though, so apparently it's kind of there.
To be honest, I didn't even notice him.
Usually a good thing.
I do have a much different play, though. Matty O able to get pretty close. He's up there just off of the little tiered green built up that is the OB line.
Yeah, he will be inside the circle. Kind of a tricky stance, though, possibly.
Paul going to do what you called earlier. Very easy to get past this basket, and he is well past it now. Difficult putt to fully run with the water so close behind.
We'll likely see him lay up from there. Ben having to take this back door, probably just settling for par, which really isn't terrible here on the first. The real key on hole one, just don't find danger. If you can birdie it, great. If not, then I think par is just fine. And then flings it from 180.
Yeah, and as you see there, it did play over par today with some double bogeys and triples. 28% carding the birdie. Paul Ulibarri looking to be part of that right here. No, he's not. He was looking to lay that up.
Smartly lays up. That water is only just outside the bullseye long from his perspective where he was putting.
Yeah.
And Matt centers up that one. Scores his first par of the round.
And Gannon, after catching the power line's going to end up carding the birdie, staying in bounds. Easy upshot there.
As we step up to hole 2, this course mixes open shots with technicality, and this one's kind of a blend of the two. We have these two telephone poles kind of shaping this gap here. Island green, but it's playing as hazard, so anything outside will be penalized, though you do have to play it from where it lies. Pretty small green here. Depending on what wind you have, I think will really affect what type of shot you want to throw, forehand or backhand, if you do have the combo, or change up your stability. Either way, you want to kind of play something low and straight here, and if you can get into the front side of this hill here, you're going to be very happy. Small green and pretty exposed.
Yeah, without those flags there, it would be very difficult to tell what the wind is doing. You're very tucked in down there. Gannon just making it over that wall. You actually are still in bounds if you're short of that wall. There's about 15 or 20 feet.
Yeah, there's that tier down there that even if you're not up top, you still have a chance to make a long birdie.
And what a difference from hole 1, huh? Hole 1 wide open, but still very scary. Hole 2, very short, but pretty tight, and it's so much different than hole 1. It kind of gives you that pucker factor again.
Absolutely, and I think, yeah, whether you want to throw forehand or backhand, this hole really shows just kind of the comfort level of the players, and I kind of see it as a rhythm shot. I like to throw forehand and backhand, but for me, I'm going to go backhand here, try to build my rhythm for the rest of the course. Ben puts it up there very nicely.
Yeah, all 4 players up on the green here, just a little bit high left from Gannon.
We did see hole 2 play as the easiest hole on the course, over 50% birdie rate.
Yeah, I made it play a little bit harder.
With it being hazard, though, if you do hit one of those poles off the tee and take a kick, this hole all of a sudden gets really tricky because you get penalized and you still have to play from a pretty crappy lie. So I feel like in the future, maybe this one can move to some kind of a true island with a tricky drop zone. I don't know. What do you think, Nathan?
I think so. I kicked far enough. I almost found the OB pond on 1, and it was very difficult. I barely got to the short tier to be in bounds for throwing 3 already. I almost had 2 hazard strokes, which is just terrible. That should never happen. But yeah, we've got 3 birdies here on our card as Gannon Buhr going to be the lone par. Pretty good way to play the easiest hole on the course. Still only averaged 2.86 though.
Yeah, like Nathan said, enough danger with the hazard kind of being over penalizing at times.
Moves us into hole 3. Yet again, we see something a bit different. Par 4, 605 feet. You've got 2 gaps to choose from. I believe most people are going to go high left. This low right side is good as well, but a little tighter. Might see some forehand rollers through there, or very overstable righty backhands. Once you get out close to 400 foot uphill second shot to get onto a green that's pretty tight as well, as you see OB everywhere. There is a little blip of a landing zone to play for par in the short where the FPO basket is. You've got to kind of circle. If you don't feel like you can make the green, you can play there for par.
I really love the dichotomy of this hole. Kind of a short technical shot off the tee, and then the longer, more open shot on the second one here. This tee shot is very tight, though.
Yeah, Paul, lucky to be in some grass after catching some high branches. Gonna see Ben almost sneak through, but gonna be in a position to lay up somewhere. Might be able to go for that first kind of landing zone.
Gannon going cut roller. I haven't seen this play, Nathan.
Yeah, that's probably why right here.
Oh my gosh, almost
No.
bounces off the side and in.
I think he...
Narrowly out there. But I think committing to some kind of roller, whether it's forehand or backhand, and getting up there, even if you go OB on the top side, it's not a bad place to look at a par, but definitely a hole you're looking to birdie if you want to play hot out here.
Yeah, I've seen Gannon hit some gaps before. So I feel like he has the ability to hit those gaps.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't necessarily love his shot selection there.
So here's Gannon's shot. Throwing three, trying to get up and down for par.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he's going to scoot out of bounds again.
Early troubles for Gannon here on the third. Uli playing the wide shot. Can he check up on this right to left sloping green? Looks a little left.
Yep, and you called it. No check up there. He is going to slide at OB as well. So Ben now trying to get up and down for his par. And this looks pretty nice.
Yeah, as a right-hand backhand player, you need to land it flat on this green unless you have the forehand to come in and match against that slope. Been able to play slower disc. And it looks like Matt had just a short chip up and then had to chip up again. He played that kind of bubble par zone you were talking about.
He's up and down
What touch?
for his par.
Paul floats that one in there with his little flex circle 2 bid. Cleans up the bogey. Good putt.
So Gannon for a bogey after 2 OB strokes. Very solid putt. Way to collect himself there.
Yeah, clean stroke, corrects off that last miss.
And this played as the second hardest hole on the course. So many above par. We've got 44% bogey or above, with 11 of that being double bogey.
Yeah, and
there's some triple bogeys in there too.
Still 24% birdies. I think we see a full field on this hole. I don't think it sees as many bogey strokes, but still, it's a good hole. Here's a look through 3 holes. A number of players cleaning it up, have all the birdies.
Trilogy Challenge is back, y'all. You get 3 discs,
The Retro Orbit Pure.
Tournament Ice Orbit Warship,
Fusion, Ice, Orbit, Vandal. Are you ready to hit the course with these 3 discs?
Go check out tillchallenge.com.
Whale sacks are a unique grip accessory, handmade in the USA by fellow disc golfers like you. If you own a disc golf store, run a league, club, or tournament, whale sacks are the perfect addition to your players' packs, CTP prizes, or product to offer your customers. A portion of every sale is donated to Save the Whales. For wholesale pricing, visit whalesacks.com/bulk to get yours. It's time to join the Whale Club.
Hole 4 is going to present us with a dogleg right par 4. 835 feet, definitely on the longer side. On this first tee shot, you're going to want to push it out straight for most of the flight, have a gentle right bend toward the end. If you have a big forehand, you can play it at that stand of trees, let it fade in front, or maybe a turnover mid-range. If you're a lefty backhand hyzer player, this one's going to set up well for you off the tee. Second shot, pretty wide open, playing down this path where the power lines run. Gentle left to right slope, helping collect your disc if you can land it just high and left of the basket. There is some out of bounds long here, so you want to come in with the right speed into the green. Definitely a birdie that takes 2 well-placed shots.
Yeah, and the elevation change on this one really, I think, defines this hole. If you had a flat, same shape, then it would just be kind of boring. But there's so much elevation drop and then climb again on this one. It's just a fun hole to play, fun hole to watch discs fly on.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Definitely adds a layer to this one for sure.
And Ben has absolutely crushed this disc. He's flying into the long wood line. Does drop out a little bit. Will likely have some stuff in his swing, though.
Looked like he was playing fairway driver, trying to get way around the corner, give himself maybe like a putter in.
You see how relaxed Paul threw that, and still went too far there. With that good drop, though, if you hit those branches on the right side and drop, you almost have flat footing.
Gannon looking for this to move straight and not finish too tight, and it does. That is a great spot to be.
That's exactly where you want to be at. Now he's going to have that righty backhand approach, like you said, to check up on that hill.
Paul having to deal with kind of an obstructed run-up. Hangs this one wide. Going to need some fortune. Doesn't. Oh, he does get a little bit.
A little
Kind
bit.
of 50-50.
And that's where some of that elevation comes into play.
Having to run down, try to throw flat, definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, and it can, when you're throwing down, if you get the angle just slightly wrong, it can really quickly drag you over and turn it over like Paul's did. Matty O going to put himself inside circle two with a scary birdie putt. There you go, Ben.
Strong swing out of the obstructed stance for Callaway. He'll probably be able to give that one a soft bid if he's feeling frisky. Gannon with the longest drive.
And he's still going to play forehand here.
Maybe
he
just didn't have the width to swing the backhand, so.
Well, he's played it nicely. He skips it right into that hill, checks it up nicely. That is excellent distance control.
And Gannon is such a hyzer player. I feel like if he has the hyzer available and it's inside his range, he most likely will opt for it. Uli a little deeper than we thought in there. Gives himself a tester for the par.
Tough putt here, and that looked a little half-hearted as far as the bid. Ben's usually got a little more snap on that. And with the steepness of this hill, you don't want anything half-hearted. You fully run it or you lay it up, one of the two, because you can catch that little side roll.
Yeah, a lot of times coming in slower on these slopes creates a little bit more of those rollaways, whereas the speed can kind of give you some more grab on the hill.
Coming back for par, and he knew it out of the hand. Didn't get it. Gonna end up with the, well, still got a little bit left here for bogey. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we did see this play as the 6th most difficult hole on the course today. Only 13% birdies.
Yeah, and as our feature card showing you here, quite a few bogeys.
Most definitely. Gannon will come and score the lone birdie on the card. Bouncing back from the previous hole, finding himself back at 1 down for the round.
And the lone par from Matteo will move us into hole 5.
What a treat it is.
Oh yeah, our first fully wooded par 4 here. 624 feet, again using this elevation that you've got out here in Kansas City. Drops down, and then you go back up 2 different lines off of the tee. The line that the drone is flying is much tighter, a lot harder to hit off of the tee. But does play well for a backhand or a little roller shot. If you can get to here, you're going to have a hyzer over top of this little pond. And then you finish left again up a pretty steep slope. Now, if you take the left fairway off of the tee and get up, there is a few different lines between the trees where you don't have to go over top of that water. Looks like Gannon may be playing for that, and he's gotten to a good spot.
Yeah, like you said, that right side gap, I don't see a lot of players taking it. I've heard some locals say that they like that right side, but I feel like if you have that forehand, this left side's really going to be ideal, because if you do get to the top, it's going to be great, or if you do fade a little early, you can still get to that right side landing zone sometimes.
He's going to be in a pretty tricky spot about halfway up that hill. Has to decide whether to hit a gap and go over the pond or throw a turnover through the left side fairway.
Yeah, you really need to clear up to the sunshine you can see on top of the hill to have multiple options. Otherwise, you're kind of going to be forced into whatever the course gives you. And gets some flip and drifts through everything. Almost finds that sunshine. He'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, those 2 mulch piles aren't bad. They get you at least around that first corner where you can decide what you'd like to do.
It's like a scorch out of the hand of Ulibarri, looking to put heavy hyzer on this thing and get it to flip up. And that's a little too flat. Not bad to kick back into the fairway, though.
Yeah, he's most likely going to have a pitch up towards that pond.
I like to see him go a little more stable there tomorrow, Nathan, because I feel like if you miss right, fade a little too much hyzer on the forehand, it's better than flipping it left.
Yeah, you could end up in that right fairway. And Matty O is going to hit an early gap to carry this
Takes
pond.
the glasses off. He likes it.
Yeah, well done. Puts himself inside circle 2. Maybe 40 feet, but putting about 52. It's very steep right there.
What a beautiful shape. Finds his way all the way to circle 1.
Great shot there from Ben Callaway. Gannon Buhr from pretty much the ideal spot. He's going to go forehand down this left side. Big flex line.
Yeah, that most wide left gap through that left side seems like the cleanest line over there. There is a skinny kind of line straight at it over there as well. A couple ways to get into the green here.
Yeah, I think the wide line, like you said, Gannon took, is the best one. That skinny line is more for a righty backhand. Paul Ulibarri. Again, this course is showing you some rollaways. We've already seen a few of them.
Sit down.
Oh, man.
This green is definitely one that is dangerous, and fortunately Paul curls up because that was about to be a bit of a nightmare scenario.
Yes, sir. He wants no rollaways. The way you can prevent that is go ahead and put it in that basket. Matty O keeping it clean, 2 down.
That's what they say. If you make it, it can never roll. And Gannon cleans it high, centered on the pole. Great
so
birdie.
much pace.
Yeah. Gannon's really kind of pushed, I think, the level of a lot of the putters in our game to add some more pace to their putts. And, you know, sometimes these baskets don't love it, but I think as a player, committing and being and firing the disc in there more times than not, you're going to be happy with it.
We've got 3 birdies on our card here.
Very impressive.
As Paul's going to pick up the unfortunate double bogey there, and he's got a buzzard on the card. 3 bogey strokes in a row.
Ooh, never heard that, but I love that, Nathan. That's I'm gonna steal that one from you. And here we are on hole 6, par 4. This one dog legs to the left. It's a short one, but it's very specific off the tee. You want to land it somewhere up on top of this hill. Ideally, I feel like it baits you into trying to fade into this corner here, but then you have a really downhill run up. I like being on top, being able to throw this straight shot a little more level with the basket. Either way, though, this second shot is likely some kind of a flip up backhand hyzer or a little forehand flex, depending on where you can put it to. This one's well tucked back there, so it takes a good approach to get it.
What a fun disc golf hole, man.
It's a good one. It's one that, like, on paper and on camera doesn't look super hard, but it's very specific. And Gannon, pretty much no chance at birdie.
Yeah, the landing zone you have really is only about 15 feet wide to have a good shot. Obviously, there's a little bit more room to throw an incredible second shot, but 15 feet on top of this hill, like, that is a little bit short. Not really. He's probably at that first foot of the 15.
Yeah, where Matty's at, he'll be able to shape a hyzer through that gap. But like you said, if you can get to where you can throw a straight shot through there and not have to, if you have to try to flex something into this green, this hole gets way harder.
Yeah, and Ben's overthrown it as well, trying to skip down in there.
I think that's some of that tournament juice for Callaway and Buhr, maybe?
I think it's just being aggressive. They're trying to skip down in there rather than just hit their spot on the top of the hill.
A little course management, maybe.
There you go.
Really finds a prime time spot.
That's the one you see. He threw a slower disc. All he was trying to do was get to that gap, and he did it nicely.
Yeah, I like a stable putter or mid-range almost here. Just, you don't, like, it is enticing to try to skip down in there, but like I said, if you can be on top, looking straight at the basket on a level footing, then you're going to be happy.
Hi, Ruby. Love you.
Ben saying hello to his daughter, Ruby. Very sweet of him. Hi, Ruby. Hope you're watching. And looks like Gannon has to just chip out to a spot where he should be able to save par, but going to be a tricky Anheuser flex forehand maybe.
Yeah, and Matteo did try that really tight hyzer. I didn't see if that kicked or it just flipped over a lot.
Yeah, looks like it fought its way into that right side, maybe somewhere in circle 2, but it's going to be very obstructed.
And this is the ideal shot in my opinion, to not have exactly straight, but to have just a little bit of left where you can flex it and then have it finish back onto this hillside. Paul ends up just a little bit early on some trees.
Yeah, I do think the flex forehand is the perfect shape coming in here. If you can set it up, the backhand's just going to drag you to circle's edge left if you do throw it well, but either way, getting into circle 1 here, you're going to be happy.
Ben also having to pitch out and then throw this flex forehand from a little bit closer. This looks fantastic.
Ring it up.
Oh, almost catching the basket.
Gannon gonna have to play that same line. I think that's his really overstable fast driver, maybe the X1. Slides up to a makeable putt.
Yeah, he's been putting well today, so should feel pretty comfortable with that.
Matt chips that Anheuser putt, gets good power on it from a tricky stance. Another jumper for Uli.
Oh, nails it.
Low left pocket. That's the sweet spot.
Yeah, tired of those bogey strokes. He's going to get himself his second birdie. Gannon Buhr, after having to play a pitch out, he's now looking for his par.
Gannon makes the basket look so small. Dives it down in there.
Surprisingly, to me anyway, this is one of the 5 holes, I think, that averaged under par.
It is kind of surprising. I feel like it is one that can give you some danger, but I think with the out of bounds off the tee not really coming into play very often, I think bogey is probably the worst we'll see for most players here. So
true.
Matt cleans up his par.
Ben's putt just kind of snuck out of there low left, I think. Gonna end up with that bogey.
And Matt, only player on the card that is bogey free so far through 6 holes. Joseph Anderson, Robert Burridge, both only missed 1 birdie so far. Pretty hot scores happening out here at Bad Rock Creek. It's one of those courses you can shred, and it can also shred you.
Yeah, that's the way you want to do it. Birdie early makes you feel good going into some of the more difficult holes. Brand new hole this year, hole 7, 411 foot, par 3, righty backhand shot. If you couldn't tell, I'm a little salty about one of these trees out here, but difficult hole. You've got maybe a 30-foot wide gap that tightens up towards the end. You've either got to go where the drone is going right here, or ideally to the right of these trees, and then have a good skip finish. Lots of mulch down here to give you that nice skip. So fairway driver for some of these guys, distance driver for others. But you really want it to travel straight for 360 feet and then move to the left.
Yeah, beautiful size new tee pad out here. And like you said, I do think this first 2/3 of the hole is really clean, but then there's those last 4 trees that I wouldn't hate seeing maybe 2 of them go to make it a little bit of a cleaner line for not only the right-hand backhand, but also anyone just trying to shape it down there.
This first tree on the right, that white one that's standing out.
That's your guy?
That's the lefty denier right there. I don't see it affecting a right-handed backhand shot too much, but it really closes off this hole for that counterclockwise spin. Gets off to the right a little bit there for Gannon.
Yeah, 2 ways you'll see right-hand backhand players attack this. A little bit of hyzer out of a disc that's going to stand to straight throughout the flight, or flat and firm on something that's going to fade late. Matt puts it up inside the circle, well thrown. This one you feel like you kind of throw your shape, and whether you get through those last group of trees or not, it's kind of hard to repeat. Really close to being a perfectly clean hole.
Oh, and I like this shot from Ben. Catching one of those late last trees, but still move forward. Looks like he's going to be inside circle 1.
To me, that skinny one he hit, and then the one that kind of branches out just behind it, I wouldn't hate for those to go. And then there's to be just the two kind of lining up where if you go left or right of them, you're good to go here. Out of bounds on that left side does seem to come in quickly for the right-hand player at times as well.
Yeah, I didn't even bring up the OB, but it does line the right and the left side of this hole, which you usually won't find till late.
Ben,
There's a good
strong.
putt from Ben.
Was that glow buzz off the tee that he likes smacking on? Wow, what power.
Yeah, with that late stand-up. What a shot. This hole did average over par today. Gannon able to clean up after his little bit misfire of a putt. 22% birdie, 22% bogey, but there's a couple doubles in there, making it average at a 3.02. Matty O still playing clean. He's 3 down through the first 7 with 3 birdies.
Yeah, if he can stay patient and keep the card clean, he is going to find himself in a very good position after this first round. Hole 8, another dichotomous par 4. Through the tight gap off the tee, one of the tighter ones on the course. Whether you want to jam a tiny flex forehand or just a straight backhand, you want to put it somewhere near this FPO basket we see here. The higher you can climb on the hill, the easier this second shot, but the low ceiling off the tee and the tight gap can kind of make it where you really want to prioritize just getting out. Second shot's going to likely be a big flex shot or a hyzer if you have enough distance. And you really want to be either parked on this one or on the short side. Long left, long right, there's just a wall of bushes that are impenetrable.
Yeah, I have a really hard time reaching this hole. So that long stuff you're talking about must be for par-up shots or something. But yeah, this second shot, like you said, somewhere around that FPO pin leaves you about 420 feet going up and over this hill.
Yeah, I think that uphill run-up on this second shot is really what makes the power hard to get on that second. Ben's going to have a tough time. Par would be very happy from there.
Yeah, and like you said, one of the tighter gaps on the course. Players having a pretty difficult time getting through there right now. See if Gannon can get it. Oh, yeah. That's going to get better distance than that FPO pin also. He got a hold of that.
And he'll likely have a 410-foot hyzer in from there, and shot Gannon's very comfortable with. Ben finds a way through a very skinny gap.
Yeah, nice to not hear any trees there. Paul's still able to have a swing, so he's going to be able to progress pretty far. Gets up there nicely, and that's a great spot to be to try to get up and down for your par.
Yeah, being able to see the basket on this one just makes a huge difference, regardless of what you're throwing for. Matt shapes it nicely and comes up short. Open putt, just inside the circle, appears.
Ben now trying to get up and down for the par, and this is a difficult task where he's at so uphill, really hard to get that power, and as you see, he fades out to almost edge of circle 2, going to have a very long look.
Yeah, very common to see players end up somewhere in circle 2 on this second shot.
I think that's why I have so much trouble, is because mine fades towards that OB, and I've really got to get over on it to be able to not be OB.
And there is that wood line left where, you know, if you do get on it a little too much on top there, you can see that wood line. It could come into play. So, yeah, I could see.
But Gannon bringing in that tree you were talking about, he ends up too far right and is not really going to have a good look.
I was back there yesterday, and there was literally nothing. I had to throw a scuba over the top. There's one little walking path on the right side that if you can find, you can jam a putt through, but really difficult over there. And Ben finds himself just barely short. Thought the wind was going to keep him up, maybe.
Yeah, valiant effort. And Gannon, you see, patent pending, who knows what.
That is all there is over there, you guys. You have to just chip it up into the branches and hope that they drop you down properly. He still has a difficult putt to make, more than you'd like, at least for par. Matt was just outside, goes to that jumper, and just a little undercommitted.
As you see there, 34% of the field. Look at Paul.
Couldn't tell who was putting, and Ulibarri out of the bushes drops it in there. He has such a soft putt, Nathan.
Yeah, that probably had to putt soft if we couldn't even see him, so who knows what type of arm swing he had over there.
Yeah, I saw Gannon stand behind the tree. I was like, is Gannon going? Who's going? And then here comes Paul. But Gannon cleans up, takes par here on 8.
Yeah, and par's a good score. 52% of the field took it, only 14% with a birdie or...
Yeah, this one, it felt kind of easier in practice, but in theory, you gotta throw really good out the gap and hit a great approach.
That will move us into hole 9, 268-foot par 3, where these telephone poles or light poles make their second appearance. Not as in play as hole 2, as this gap that we're flying through right now is tighter. I believe they pushed the basket back a little bit farther this year. It used to sit right here at the edge of this mulch, but now you've got to carry a little bit, which can be difficult to do with this low ceiling. So although this is only 268, we might see some fairways to get that speed. You might see some players try to skip off of that mulch to get up there.
Yeah, almost unable to go long here. The height window you have to throw to park this one, you have to be within like the last 2 feet of the ceiling here. Forehand, backhand, either one plays on this shot. Really cleans it. Puts himself about as good as you can do here. Gannon left of that tree that you want to be flying just inside of, and gives himself an opportunity.
Ben, just a little bit late release on that. A little too much snap, turns it over as well. Looks like he's got just enough room to be able to get up and down for par, which is not always guaranteed if you get to the left or the right on this fairway.
Yeah, if you kick more than 10, 15, 20 feet out of the initial tree gap there, it gets really hairy.
And Gannon, just super easy 40-footer right there. You know?
Yeah, when he's making putts, it feels like he's just one of the premier putters in the game for sure.
And quite the opposite putt there of that slow drop in that Paul has. Able to get himself a birdie.
Yeah, we really see 4 totally different putting styles on this card. Super fun to see, and I think while our game, oh my gosh, Matt, while our game is moving more and more towards kind of a clean, similar stroke for the backhands, I feel like putting is always going to be one of those very individual things, and this basket did not do its job for Mr. Callaway.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Wow, that was hard to watch. And that was soft. It wasn't like he put it too hard. It was low left and all the chains. We feel for you, Ben.
Yeah, that's not a bogey you want to take. 2.97 average to finish out that front 9. And Matty O keeping it clean. Gannon Buhr with just the 1 bogey on hole 4. They're both sitting 3 down. Ulibarri and Callaway, bit of a roller coaster, which is going to happen to a lot of players out here.
This is one of those courses you got to hit your gaps. You got to stay patient. You're going to have good shots that end up or feeling good that don't work out for you, and you're going to have to make some circle 2 putts to play well out here. Joseph Anderson, Robert Burridge find themselves tied for the lead after 9 holes, but a lot can happen out here at Bad Rock Creek. For Nathan Queen, I'm Connor O'Reilly, and we will see you guys on the back 9.